The silent Vanguard. The Earth-ship Vanguard hung motionless against the backdrop of Jupiter's swirling storms, its obsidian hull absorbing both light and sensor scans with equal efficiency. To the casual observer, particularly the alien vessels maintaining a diplomatic watch from the orbit of Ganymede, the warship appeared to be nothing more than an oversized craft of crude human manufacture. Its angular lines and visible weapon ports spoke of a species still learning the basics of space warfare. Admiral Helena Walsh knew better. Standing on the bridge of humanity's most advanced vessel, she allowed herself a small smile as another scan from the Galactic Council's observation fleet washed harmlessly over the Vanguard's hull. The aliens would find exactly what humanity wanted them to find. Nothing more, nothing less. Another probe from the Arcturus delegation. Admiral, reported Lieutenant Commander Jack Chen from his tactical station. They're particularly interested in our dorsal section today. Let them look, Helena replied, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the positions of the alien vessels. Status of the shroud. Operating at full capacity, answered Dr. Samira Patel, the ship's chief scientist. Her fingers danced across her neural interface, the subtle luminescence of quantum circuitry briefly visible beneath her brown skin. They're seeing our standard cover story: primitive fusion drives, basic mass accelerators, and enough structural inefficiencies to confirm their prejudices about human engineering. The bridge crew shared knowing looks. For 50 years since first contact, humanity had maintained this elaborate deception. While the Galactic Council saw Earth as a quaint backwater barely worthy of provisional membership, humanity had been advancing by leaps and bounds, carefully hiding their true capabilities behind a facade of technological inadequacy. The quantum communications array chimed, and a hologram materialized in the center of the bridge. High Counselor Zexnar of the Arcturus Confederation, his crystalline form refracting light in what his species considered an intimidating display, spoke without preamble. Admiral Walsh, the Grand Council has reached its decision regarding humanity's petition for expanded exploration rights. The alien's tone carried the patronizing note that Helena had come to expect. Given your species' current technological level, we find it necessary to restrict human vessels to within 5 light years of your solar system. This is for your own safety, of course. Helena maintained her diplomatic composure, though she could feel the quiet anger of her crew. High Counselor, Earth has maintained a perfect safety record in our explorations. We've followed every regulation, every protocol. Regulations created for species capable of understanding the dangers of deep space, Zexnar interrupted. Your primitive sensors and propulsion systems simply cannot guarantee safe navigation beyond your local space. The Council's decision is final. As the hologram faded, Helena turned to her crew. Dr. Patel, status of Project Eclipse. Samira's face lit up with fierce pride. Ready for deployment. Admiral, the quantum cores are stable, and the dimensional matrices are primed. We can begin whenever you give the word. Helena nodded, activating the ship-wide communication system. All hands, this is the Admiral. For 50 years, we've hidden our true capabilities, playing the role of the primitive species while advancing far beyond what the Council believes possible. Today, that changes. She paused, looking at each member of her bridge crew. Commander Sarah Martinez at navigation, her neural implants far more sophisticated than anything the Council had seen. Lieutenant Commander Chen at tactical, his quantum-enhanced reflexes making him one of the finest gunners in the fleet. Dr. Patel, whose breakthroughs in dimensional physics had revolutionized human technology. The Council believes they're protecting us from the dangers of deep space. Instead, they're about to learn that humanity hasn't just caught up to their level of technology. We've surpassed it. Begin Phase 1 of Operation Eclipse. Deep within the Vanguard's quantum core, systems that had lain dormant for years hummed to life. The ship's true nature began to emerge, layer by layer, like a butterfly shedding its chrysalis. The crude exterior was about to give way to something that would shake the foundations of galactic society. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, Chen reported, his voice tight with anticipation. Looks like the Council sent their entire Third Fleet to enforce the restriction. Helena's smile grew sharper. Right on schedule. Dr. Patel, are we ready for our demonstration? Quantum cores at full power, Samira confirmed. Dimensional matrices aligned. Eclipse protocols standing by. Helena took her command chair, feeling the familiar neural connection with the Vanguard strengthen. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was humanity's declaration of independence from the Council's patronizing oversight. Years of careful planning, of hiding their advances while preparing for this moment, were about to pay off. Send a message to Earth Command, she ordered. Tell them Operation Eclipse is commencing. She paused, watching as the Council fleet arranged itself in an attack formation that they thought would be intimidating to a primitive human vessel. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. The Vanguard's quantum core pulsed, and for a brief moment, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The game of pretense was over. Now came the moment of revelation, and the galaxy would never be the same. Behind the veil, the Council's Third Fleet hung in space like a constellation of artificial stars, their ships arranged in the classic Arcturian battle formation. High Commander Vex Thal watched the lone human vessel through his crystalline sensor array, his crystalline form vibrating with barely concealed disdain. Such primitive construction, he remarked to his second-in-command. Look at those exposed thermal vents. Any first-year shipwright would know better. But before his subordinate could respond, their sensor arrays exploded with alerts. The human vessel, the Vanguard, was changing. Its hull seemed to ripple like water, the supposedly crude exterior dissolving to reveal something entirely different beneath. Aboard the Vanguard, Admiral Walsh watched the transformation through the quantum-enhanced bridge windows. The ship's outer layer of programmable matter flowed like liquid metal, revealing the true hull beneath, a seamless expanse of dark material that seemed to drink in light itself. Quantum metamaterial shell fully deployed. Dr. Petal reported, her hands dancing across her neural interface. They're finally seeing our real hull structure. Their sensor arrays are going crazy, Chen added with a grin. I'm detecting multiple emergency broadcasts to their fleet command. Helena nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. Time to give them something else to worry about. Commander Martinez, take us into position for the first demonstration. The Vanguard moved with impossible grace, its true propulsion system finally unveiled. No crude fusion drives here. The ship rode waves of manipulated space-time itself, using quantum fields to surf the fabric of reality. High Commander Vex Thal's crystalline form flickered in agitation as he watched the human vessel perform maneuvers that should have been impossible. This cannot be. Their technological level was verified just 3 cycles ago. On the Vanguard's bridge, Helena stood from her command chair. Open a channel to the Third Fleet's command ship. When the connection was established, she spoke clearly and confidently. High Commander, I believe it's time we had an honest discussion about humanity's capabilities. What deception is this? Vex Thal demanded. You've violated countless Council protocols. No, Helena interrupted firmly. We've violated no protocols. We simply allowed you to see what you expected to see. The Council's own charter places no restrictions on a species' right to develop technology in secret. As if to emphasize her point, the Vanguard's quantum field generators pulsed, creating a localized distortion in space-time that caused light itself to bend around the ship. To the Council fleet's sensors, it would appear as if the vessel was in multiple places simultaneously. Dr. Patel's voice carried a note of pride as she reported, quantum uncertainty field operating at full capacity. Their targeting systems can't get a lock on our actual position. Multiple Council vessels powering up weapons, Chen reported calmly. They're trying to target us with their mass drivers and plasma cannons. Helena's smile grew slightly. Let them try. Dr. Patel, initiate Phase 2 of the demonstration. Deep within the Vanguard's quantum core, equations that would have baffled the Council's finest scientists resolved themselves in microseconds. The ship's true defensive systems activated, creating a bubble of altered physics around the vessel. Inside this bubble, the normal rules of space, time, and energy became more suggestions than laws. The first Council ship fired a stream of accelerated particles designed to disable any known shield system. The particles approached the Vanguard's quantum field and simply ceased to exist, converted to pure information, and absorbed into the ship's computational matrices. Attack converted successfully, Samira reported. Our quantum processors have already analyzed their weapon systems. We can neutralize anything they throw at us. Commander Martinez spoke up from her station. Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from multiple Council vessels. They're requesting explanations, demanding answers. Of course they are, Helena replied. Their entire understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy just shattered. She paused, considering her next move carefully. Send them a tight beam transmission of our technical specifications. Just the basics, nothing classified. Let them see exactly what they've been missing. As the data streamed out, the Council fleet's formations began to break down. Some ships backed away slowly, while others moved closer, their sensors working overtime to analyze the impossible vessel before them. Admiral, Chen called out, his voice tight with sudden tension. New contacts dropping out of hyperspace. A lot of them. The Council's second and fourth fleets just arrived. Helena nodded, unsurprised. Right on schedule. They were always going to respond with force when they realized the truth. She turned to address her bridge crew directly. This is what we've prepared for. Humanity's place in the galaxy changes today, one way or another. The Vanguard's quantum core hummed with power, ready to reveal even more of humanity's hidden capabilities. As the Council fleets moved to surround them, Helena couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. They had only shown a fraction of what they could do, and the real demonstration was about to begin. All hands, she announced shipwide, prepare for Phase 3. Let's show them what happens when humanity stops playing by their rules. The quantum core pulsed once more, and reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what impossible thing would happen next. The trial of fire. 3 massive Council fleets now surrounded the Vanguard, their weapons primed and targeting systems straining to lock onto the vessel that seemed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. The space around Jupiter had become a powder keg, waiting for a single spark to ignite. That spark came in the form of a transmission from the Council's newly arrived flagship. Supreme Commander Axforn's hologram materialized on the Vanguard's bridge, his crystalline form pulsing with barely contained rage. This deception will not stand, he declared. Humanity has violated the fundamental trust upon which the Council was built. You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded, or we will be forced to demonstrate why the Council has maintained peace in this galaxy for 10,000 years. Admiral Walsh met his gaze steadily. Supreme Commander, I suggest you check your historical records more carefully. The Council was built on the principle that all spacefaring species have the right to develop at their own pace, free from outside interference. We've simply exercised that right more thoroughly than most. You dare lecture me on Council law? Axforn's form flickered with anger. You're primitive. That's enough, Helena interrupted, her voice carrying the weight of authority that made even the Supreme Commander pause. We are done playing the role of the primitive species. Dr. Patel, show them why. Samira's fingers danced across her neural interface, and the Vanguard's quantum core surged with power. The space around the ship began to twist and fold, reality itself responding to human technology in ways the Council had long thought impossible. Multiple quantum events detected, Chent reported from Tactical. Council ships are attempting to lock weapons, but their targeting systems can't resolve our position in space-time. The Supreme Commander's voice turned harsh. This is your final warning. Power down or. The hologram cut off as the Council flagship fired, launching a barrage of antimatter torpedoes. The weapons streaked toward the Vanguard, their paths distorting as they encountered the ship's quantum uncertainty field. Helena remained calm. Dr. Patel, initiate the Einstein-Rosen conversion. The torpedoes reached the Vanguard's outer defensive layer and simply vanished. A moment later, a series of small wormholes opened around the Council ships, depositing the harmlessly converted energy as spectacular auroras. Quantum conversion successful, Samira reported with a satisfied smile. Their own weapons make quite a beautiful light show, don't they? The Council fleets responded with a full barrage, hundreds of weapons streaming toward the Vanguard. Each one met the same fate, transformed by human technology into harmless energy displays that danced around their ships like mocking reminders of their ineffectiveness. Admiral, Martine is called out. I'm detecting quantum fluctuations from the Council flagship. They're preparing to deploy their primary weapon. Helena nodded. Right on schedule. They're about to show us their ultimate weapon, thinking it will force our surrender. Chen, prepare the Mobius Protocol. The Council representatives exchanged looks of dawning horror. High Counselor Zexnar's voice trembled as he spoke. Our greatest weapons would be useless against them. Even the null cannon is based on technology they would recognize and counter easily. Helena finished. That's why we developed our quantum manipulation technology in an entirely different direction. The precursors master space and time. We've learned to master probability itself. Dr. Paddle stood, her neural interfaces glowing as she interfaced with the ship's quantum core. The holographic display shifted, showing the true extent of human preparation. Hidden in dimensional pockets throughout the galaxy were fleets of ships like the Vanguard, each capable of rewriting the local laws of physics. We've been building and preparing for the past 50 years, she explained. Every time you dismissed us as primitive, we used that freedom to expand our capabilities. Every time you restricted our movements, we developed better ways to hide our true activities. And now, Helena added, we need your help. Not with technology. We're far beyond what you currently possess. We need your cooperation in coordinating the galaxy's response. The precursors will arrive in less than a year, and we need every species working together if we're going to survive. The Council representatives sat in stunned silence, decades of assumptions and prejudices crumbling around them. Supreme Commander Axforn was the first to speak. You could have revealed this earlier, asked for help. Why maintain the deception until now? Helena's expression was grim. Because the precursors have quantum sensors monitoring the galaxy. Any civilization that advances too quickly, that shows sudden technological leaps, draws their attention. We had to develop everything in absolute secrecy, hiding behind a mask of primitive technology. Only now, when we're fully prepared, can we reveal ourselves. Ambassador Chen leaned forward. We're not asking for permission or approval. We're offering an alliance. Humanity will share some of our quantum technology, enough to help protect your worlds. In return, we need your cooperation in implementing our defense plans. And if we refuse, one of the energy-based council members pulsed skeptically. Then humanity will fight alone. Helena replied calmly. We'll do our best to protect everyone, but our primary focus will be on saving as many species as possible. We'd prefer to work together, but we're prepared to act unilaterally if necessary. The holographic display shifted again, showing the network of quantum defense systems humanity had secretly constructed throughout the galaxy. The Council representatives watched in growing amazement as they realized the true scope of human preparation. All this time, Zexnar whispered, while we were patronizing you as primitives. We were becoming the most advanced civilization in known space, Dr. Patel completed. Not out of pride or ambition, but out of necessity. The precursors are coming, and conventional weapons and defenses won't stop them. Only by completely redefining what's possible could we hope to survive. Helena stood, her authority filling the room. You have 1 hour to contact your governments and make your decision. Help us save the galaxy, or stay out of our way. Either way, humanity is done hiding. As the Council representatives hurriedly began communicating with their homeworlds, Helena turned to look out the quantum-enhanced window at Jupiter's swirling storms. Soon, those storms would be nothing compared to what was coming. But humanity was ready. They had hidden their light for 50 years, playing the role of primitive upstarts while preparing for this moment. Now, finally, they could show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. The only question was whether the Council species would swallow their pride and join them, or cling to their illusions of superiority until it was too late. A new dawn. 3 months after humanity's revelation, the combined fleets of the galaxy gathered near the orbit of Saturn. It was the largest assemblage of spacecraft in known history. Thousands of vessels representing every spacefaring species. At their center, the Vanguard hung in space, now surrounded by its sister ships that had emerged from dimensional hiding. Admiral Helena Walsh stood on her bridge, watching the quantum tactical display as Dr. Patel made final adjustments to the galaxy-wide defense network. The Council ships had been upgraded with basic quantum shielding, not nearly as advanced as human technology, but enough to give them a fighting chance. Final integration of the quantum network is complete, Samira reported, her neural interfaces pulsing with activity. All Council ships are successfully linked to our targeting and defense systems. Status of the precursor fleet? Helena asked, though she already knew the answer. She'd been watching their approach for weeks now. The Council flagship's hull began to split apart, revealing a massive cannon that seemed to draw in light itself. Even from their distance, the Vanguard sensors could detect the weapon-drawing power from multiple dimensions. The null cannon, Samira whispered, her eyes wide with genuine appreciation. It's supposed to be theoretical, a weapon that creates a bubble of null space, erasing anything it touches from existence. Humanity, you have forced our hand. Supreme Commander Axforn's voice echoed across all frequencies. The null cannon has never failed to eliminate its target. Power down now, or cease to exist. Helena's response was to stand from her command chair, her neural link with the Vanguard pulsing with shared purpose. You still don't understand, Commander. We've known about the null cannon for decades. Why do you think we developed the Mobius protocol? Before the Council forces could respond, the Vanguard's quantum core initiated its most impressive feat yet. The ship's form began to twist, not just in three-dimensional space, but through higher dimensions that the Council's sensors couldn't even detect. Mobius protocol engaged, Samira announced, her voice filled with professional pride. Quantum topology stable. We're ready, Admiral. The null cannon fired, its beam of absolute nothing racing toward the Vanguard. But instead of striking the ship, the beam encountered something impossible, a quantum topological field that caused it to loop back on itself, creating a perfect Mobius strip in space-time. The Council fleet watched in stunned silence as their ultimate weapon was caught in an infinite loop, its power feeding back into itself until it collapsed with a flash of light that briefly outshone Jupiter itself. Impossible. Axforn's voice was barely a whisper. The mathematics for such a defense, it would require understanding of 11-dimensional space. Helena finished for him. Understanding of how to manipulate the quantum fabric of reality itself. Yes, Commander. That's exactly what it required. And that's exactly what humanity has achieved while you were all so busy underestimating us. The silence that followed was deafening. 3 fleets of the most powerful ships in the galaxy hung motionless, their crews trying to process what they had just witnessed. A single human vessel had not only survived their ultimate weapon, but had done so with what appeared to be ease. Admiral, Chen reported, I'm detecting power spikes from multiple Council vessels. They're powering down their weapons. Helena allowed herself a small smile. And now, Supreme Commander, shall we discuss humanity's place in the galaxy as equals? Or would you prefer another demonstration? The Council flagship's response was to slowly, almost grudgingly, begin powering down its systems. The other ships followed suit, their weapon ports closing one by one. The real question, Helena continued, isn't what else humanity is capable of. The real question is, are you ready to learn why we chose to reveal ourselves now? Because I assure you, Supreme Commander, there's a very good reason we picked this moment. And you're going to want to hear what comes next. Shattered illusions. The quantum-enhanced conference room aboard the Vanguard hummed with tension. Around the holographic table sat representatives from the Council's major powers, their forms ranging from crystalline to energy-based to purely biological. Across from them sat Admiral Walsh, Dr. Patel, and Earth's hastily summoned ambassador, Dr. Marcus Chen. The holographic display between them showed something that had the Council representatives shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Long-range sensor data from human quantum telescopes, revealing what was approaching from the galactic core. We detected them 6 years ago, Helena explained, manipulating the display to zoom in on the massive objects moving through deep space. At first, we thought they were natural phenomena. Then we decoded their quantum signatures. Impossible, breathed Supreme Commander Axforn, his crystalline form dulled with shock. The precursors were destroyed. All historical records confirm. Your records are incomplete, Dr. Patel interrupted gently. We found evidence in quantum echoes left in subspace. The precursors weren't destroyed. They were waiting, hibernating in the space between galaxies. And now they're returning. Ambassador Chen gestured to the display, where the massive shapes, each larger than a solar system, continued their inexorable advance. This is why humanity has been hiding our true capabilities. We needed to prepare without drawing their attention. The precursors wiped out advanced civilizations before, leaving only younger races they deemed non-threatening. We had to appear primitive. Commander Martinez brought up the long-range sensor data. 7 massive vessels approaching from the galactic core. Their quantum signatures are unlike anything we've ever seen. They're warping space itself just by existing. That's why conventional weapons would never work against them. Dr. Patel explained to the assembled Council representatives watching via quantum hologram. They don't exist entirely in our reality. They operate on multiple dimensional planes simultaneously, which is exactly what we designed our quantum technology to counter, Helena added. Everything humanity has developed over the past 50 years was built with this specific threat in mind. The tactical display suddenly flared with alerts. They're accelerating, Chen reported from his station. The precursors will reach our position in 10 minutes. Helena opened a channel to the combined fleet. All vessels, assume defensive formations as practiced. Remember your training. Today we face an enemy that has haunted this galaxy for millions of years. But today we face them together. The massive Council ships moved into position around the human vessels, their newly installed quantum shields humming with power. The smaller, more agile ships took up flanking positions, ready to implement the strategies they'd been drilling for months. First precursor vessel emerging from hyperspace, Martins announced. The sight took every being's breath away. A ship larger than Jupiter itself materialized before the combined fleet, its surface a writhing mass of impossible geometries. 6 more followed, arranging themselves in a pattern that seemed to hurt the eye to look at. By the first light, whispered Supreme Commander Axforn through the quantum link. They're even more terrible than the ancient records suggested. Receiving transmission, Chen reported. It's broadcasting on all frequencies, all dimensions. A voice that wasn't really a voice filled every mind on every ship. It spoke in concepts more than words, each thought carrying the weight of millions of years. Lisser inches. UAAVGUROU and beyond your ASSI GNEDBO and ARIs. Prepare for reduce CT1. Helena's response was to activate humanity's final revelation. Dr. Patel, initiate the Prometheus protocol. Throughout the combined fleet, quantum cores that humanity had installed pulsed in perfect synchronization. Reality itself seemed to shiver as human technology began to rewrite the rules of what was possible. What is TS? The precursor's thought voice held something new. Uncertainty. Something you've never encountered before. Helena replied calmly. You see, while you were sleeping between galaxies, humanity took a different path. You master space and time. We learned to master probability itself. We don't just bend reality. We change what's possible. The Vanguard's quantum core reached full power, and the effect rippled through the entire fleet. Each ship became a nexus of probability manipulation, creating a web of altered physics that encompassed the entire battlefield. You've spent millions of years pruning the galaxy's civilizations, Helena continued, culling any species that might one day challenge you. But you never considered that a species might hide its true nature, might spend decades preparing specifically to face you. The precursor ships began to move, their weapon systems powering up with enough energy to shatter planets. But within the quantum probability field, those weapons found themselves subject to new rules of physics, rules written by human mathematics and enforced by human technology. Impossible, the precursor voice boomed. This defies the fundamental. No, Dr. Petal responded, her hands dancing across her neural interface as she directed the quantum field. It defies your understanding of the fundamental laws. Humanity spent 50 years rewriting those laws. This is our galaxy too, and we rewrote the rules of how it works. The battle that followed would be remembered for millennia to come. The precursor ships unleashed weapons that could erase solar systems, only to have those weapons transformed by human probability fields into harmless light shows. They tried to retreat into higher dimensions, only to find those dimensions closed off by human quantum mathematics. And the combined fleet struck back. Council weapons, enhanced by human quantum technology, fired through probability loops that multiplied their effectiveness a millionfold. The Vanguard and its sister ships danced through space-time, their quantum cores rewriting local physics faster than the precursors could adapt. For the first time in their ancient existence, the precursors faced an enemy they couldn't simply overpower, because that enemy had changed the meaning of power itself. The final precursor ship vanished in a cascade of quantum effects, its ancient technology no match for humanity's revolutionary approach to physics itself. In the silence that followed, the combined fleet hung in space, their crews barely able to believe what they had witnessed. All precursor vessels eliminated, Chen reported, his voice quiet with awe. Their quantum signatures have been erased from all dimensional planes. Helena nodded, feeling the weight of history in this moment. Send word to Earth. Operation Prometheus is complete. The galaxy is safe. Through the quantum network, she could feel the amazement and gratitude of the Council species. Their universe had changed forever, not just because the ancient threat was gone, but because they had witnessed what was truly possible when a species was pushed to its absolute limits. Admiral, Supreme Commander Axforn's voice carried across the quantum link. Humanity has earned more than just our respect. You've earned our trust. The galaxy's future will be brighter with humanity helping to guide it. Helena smiled, looking out at the assembled fleet that represented the combined might of all spacefaring species. We never wanted to rule or dominate. We only wanted to survive and to help others survive. Now, perhaps, we can all move forward together, not as primitive or advanced species, but as equals exploring the true possibilities of existence itself. The quantum cores of the combined fleet pulsed in unison one final time, their light spreading out across the solar system like a dawn breaking over a new era of galactic civilization. The age of deception was over. The age of cooperation was about to begin.